Hello everyone, welcome live to 3Wide TV tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League here from the Circuit of the Americas for the 3Wide TV Road Course Spectacular. It is the Peter Short Spectacular here tonight. I'm Peter Short, and joining me in the booth as always is Bob Giaquinto. And Bob, we're doing things a little bit differently here tonight for all the fans. I will be in the car, you will get to commentate all my awful driving. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually driving tonight.
I am really looking forward to tonight's race, not only to be able to watch and well, maybe critique your driving style from the road course ability that I definitely do not have, but I'm really looking forward to going out there, Circuit of the Americas, and Peter, your home track, and why don't you give the viewers a little bit of a lap around this this very, very large road course.
Well, that's if we have the time to do so. Let's get out there on the racetrack right now. Let's head out on pit road. Kind of a lengthy pit road here at Circuit of the Americas. And, of course, you see the ever-daunting turn number one. Folks, I think the big question in the chat will be how many times I missed turn number one here tonight. I got about 15 minutes of practice, so who knows what's going to go on here tonight. Here's turn number one right here. Very sharp right at the top of the hill. You can't really see it, so then you head down the hill after turn number one into keeping right turn number two. You're going to see a couple of drivers, probably just me tonight because that's all you're going to see. But here we go into turn number three, turn number four. This is the best place to sit on this racetrack. I've been here many times. Turn number six right here into turn number seven, this long right-hander before you have this twist back turn number eight. Very twisty racetrack here tonight. Going to be a lot of fun to see all these drivers work their way around it. Hopefully we get to see a lot. Into turn number 9 right here, this left-hander. And then this is turn number 10, a very sweeping left-hander. You can see the car gets light as you go over it. And then the first real heavy braking point after turn number 1. It's this hairpin right here, turn number 11. And then it's the longest straightaway on the entire track right here. Coming down, going to be seeing speeds of, upwards of 170 miles an hour here down this straightaway before we get into the hard braking point, which is turn number 12. Another really awesome place to sit on the racetrack right here. Have someone in front of me. Got to watch for the wheel hop here tonight down. Ooh, number 92 right in front of me had a little bit of wheel hop. Whoa, I had a little bit of wheel spin coming out of that. That's Fernando Matos right there. Hey, Fernando, how's it going, buddy? We're just going to sweep around the outside of the number 92 machine right there. Got to watch for wheel spin all throughout this section. One of the slowest sections of the racetrack. Turn number 15, the slowest corner on the racetrack right here. Down below 40 miles an hour, believe it or not. Now you get hard on the gas. Turn number 16 into turn number 17 right here. Turn number 18, that's right, 16, 17, and 18, kind of all one big corner. You hit that apex right here. You come down this little short chute into turn number 19, clip that apex, kind of go over that curb as much as you can, let the car bleed out, and then you're into the final corner right here, which is turn number 20, before shooting the car up the hill right here. Looks like we're able to get a full lap in. That's good. Just 6 seconds left here in the practice session before we go over, of course, the full shootout. Now, I've been trying to figure out where to brake for turn number 1. I haven't really figured it out here tonight. That's actually pretty good. That's probably the best I've taken it all night long here. So just trying to figure out my braking zones here, and that's it for practice. So I got as much practice in as we can, Bob, and now we have to figure out. We have 10 minutes of qualifying to try and get the job done. Can't go off track. That's one thing we're going to see a lot here tonight, Bob, is a lot of these drivers going off track.
Yeah, a lot of off-track, and another thing to kind of throw a wrench into the works, Peter, is that this is group qualifying. So as you're able to see here on 3Wide TV, all of the cars who are participating in tonight's race are all going out on the track at the exact same time. So watch out for traffic jams and other cars while you're trying to make your hot lap. Watch for other cars coming out of the pits, and it can definitely be a bit of a cluster with all of these cars out here on the racetrack here as we see Tristan Maher pull over and let some of the field go by. And just right up here through the S is a big rhythm section here through the track as we're watching Peter make his way up here through the S's. And this is a very large track, over 3-mile racetrack, so plenty of room for calamity to essentially happen all throughout tonight's race. So this is definitely going to be a good one here, watching some of the road course guys rise up to the top of the leaderboard as we'll get ready to head down the very, very long backstretch here through turn, I believe this is number 11. right now on the track. Bill Edwards to Peter's inside here.
Yeah, Bob, you're my spotter tonight, right?
I am. I actually right now have you in the chase mode on my side of things, so I'll be able to live spot for you as well as broadcast. So
there you go.
We'll see how this one goes.
Closing in on the back of Briar Fritz here. Got to figure out a way around the number 16 machine. You see Kevin McCann in the number 42. He's 2 cars in front of me. Fastest in practice and laid down just a fantastic lap time. Him and Buttafuoco, just stellar lap time. So I think they're going to be really fast here tonight, and we'll see if they can get the job done here in the qualifying.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how these TNR newcomers are going to be out there on the road courses. Like we had mentioned, McCann, Buttafuoco, two of the 3 fastest guys out there on the racetrack in practice. And it's going to be interesting. Last season, the Total Nonstop Racing Thornton Graphix Grand National Series took their way over to Montreal. This year, we are at Circuit of the Americas. And let's see how Peter's flying lap does here as he comes out of the final corner. And we're going to go out there and start the green flag right here.
Yeah, got to be careful not to screw up, go off track. Very easy to do at Circuit of the Americas. Got to watch a little bit of wheel hop there into turn number 1. Good exit out of turn number 1, though. Probably lost about a 1/10 of a second through turn number 1 with that little bit of a slide. My best sector so far. Granted, like I said, not a whole lot of practice time leading up to the race. Just found out I was in the car a little while ago. Big shout out to Garrett Gleason for getting me the Dunn Raceway Park scheme here tonight. One of the sponsors here in the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. Of course, we got Thornton Graphix on this car here tonight as well as 3 Wide TV. Thanks to everyone joining us here tonight for a little bit of a special broadcast. Bob's going to be giving the play-by-play here tonight. So a little bit of a different look to what we normally have here on the channel, but that's going to be a lot of fun. Ooh, got that apex pretty good. Now onto the back straight.
Yeah, definitely a good-looking corner there, and this back straightaway is very, very long, and really one of the few times these cars are actually going to be up in the 4th gear, in the high gear, heading on down there. Peter had mentioned 170-plus miles an hour, and then hard braking as you head down into the corner, down to about 45 miles an hour or so. You have to watch out for the wheel hop right there. And now through some more technical sections here of the racetrack, and getting ready to come into one of my favorite corners on the track here, pretty much a 4 or 5 apex corner.
Yeah, blew it bad there, Bob. Blew it bad.
And, watching these cars come through this corner, especially the Formula 1 cars come through this corner, is just amazing to watch. So we'll see how this lap turns out for Peter as you're taking a look here on the screen. About almost 0.8 quicker than the warm-up lap here as he heads down into turn number 20. And onto the gas for the first lap as the first couple of guys are coming across the line right now. Looks like Kevin McCann so far on the provisional pole put up a 2 minutes 14 seconds .806. Peter right now in second, 0.6 behind him. As we see some more of the times coming across the bottom of your screen right there. Nick Cohan on the board up and around 5th. Vinny Valvano up in 4th as of right now. Vinny put in a great lap.
I don't know if she's still got the grip in it to go any faster on lap number 2. I really screwed up that turn number 15, and I don't know if I'll be able to. I guess I could go to pit road. Let's see if we go to pit road right now. Let's just take a trip back to pit road. Let's see if we can dial it up for one more run. Daniel Buttafuoco was 0.17 of a second faster than me. So currently I'm sitting 3rd, which is right where I was in practice, but we picked it up versus our practice time. So, Chief, you're making good changes to the car.
Well, let's see how this this bit of qualifying goes here. Still 6 minutes have elapsed into the qualifying session, so you might be able to get out there and get one more run going.
We went around. Get back to pit road. Gotta run back to pit road. Here we go. Hit the. Okay, I think we're good.
I'm thinking, yeah, we should be good.
Pressure here, Bob.
Just a little bit of pressure, you know. Everyone watching the Peter Short camera, the helmet cam here on 3 Wide TV. It's one of the new bits of technology that we've been working to develop here for you as you're watching this race. Taking a look at some of the lap times. Go ahead, Peter.
Always working on new technology here on 3 Wide TV. You know, we are
absolutely
innovators.
iRacing innovation right here on 3 Wide TV. Taking a look now at some of the standings for the rest of the drivers out there on the racetrack. Only about 10 drivers right now have put in a lap or have had a lap counted as of this moment. Still, the top 4 have not changed. Kevin McCann with a 2:14.80. Daniel Buttafuoco about 4/10 behind him, and then Peter 6/10 behind McCann in 3rd. Timothy Johnson in 4th. Philip Scott in 5th. Anthony DeBarro, Vincent Valvanos 6th and 7th. Nick Cohan 8th. Briar Fitz in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 of the 10 drivers who have completed a lap so far is the 71 machine of Josh Gerlach. So, still plenty of time out there for drivers. If you're still on pit road, probably not going to be able to get around to get to the green, where 8 minutes have gone by here in the session. So, 1 minute and 50 left here in qualifying. And as long as you get the green flag, I believe you should be able to come back around and complete your lap for the drivers out there on the course. So
yes.
Right now it's just a race against time to get to that start-finish line.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on, Bob, because, you know, I got a good lap time in there in 3rd. I'm happy with that, but look at all that time I just picked up right there around that one corner where I really blew it. I'm hoping to get that corner a little bit better. But I think I just picked up about 0.8 of a second. If I could pick up that and put my whole lap together, I'd be on the pole, but we'll see what we can do in the Dunn Raceway Park number 33 machine. Back in Total Nonstop Racing League after a little bit of a hiatus, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Here as we see Peter coming by to get the green flag to start his qualifying run, with plenty of time up there on the board. 48 seconds to go here in the session. Brian McCann goes up to about P7. Still about 3.6 behind his brother Kevin, still on the provisional pole. Mitchell Adams put up the 10th fastest lap. As we see Peter here now going through the S's. Very sweeping, but still very technical part of the course. A lot of just balancing, heel and toe braking, some little bit of shifting, nothing too much here. As Peter in second gear, now up to 3rd, getting ready to go into the hard left-hander, first of the, I'd say, handful of hairpins here at Circuit of the Americas. Very slow corner, and now he's going to gun it. 170 miles an hour or so is about as fast as these cars are going to get down this very, very long back straightaway. And then hard braking into a hard left-hand turn, only going about 45 miles an hour. So 170 down to 45, and, well, that span of time right there. So a very technical track and a very tough track to drive, which is why I'm up here in the broadcaster's booth and not there in the seat for this one.
Yeah, about mirroring my lap time that I ran last time. The big corner right here. Did it a little bit better than I did last time, but still not great. Walked up the right front just a little bit. Hoping she's got a little bit of grip left in her. Last few corners here.
And so far, tracking good here as you see the green bar and the center of the screen. That means green obviously means good. You're going faster than the previous lap here. Coming down to turn 20.
Just Do a burnout for the fans. Blew it all in the final corner. Ah!
And just a tough break there. Doing a little Tokyo drifting coming out of the final corner, unfortunately. But with that, I do believe that will give Kevin McCann the pole here for tonight's race, as Peter's going to burn it down in third.
We're trying to do some Tokyo drift for the fans on 3-Wide TV. You know? Except I can't get it. I can't get it just hooked up. Said you can drift a NASCAR. I didn't.
Hey, you know what? Why, don't let your dreams be dreams. Go for it and get after it, as we're drifting pretty good now through the corner, hitting the little triangle turtle.
Got behind it. All right. Third place. Hey, I'm not too bummed about that. That's a pretty good qualifying run. On the side, the top three. I think I had that second place. Oh man, it's all right. Third place is not a bad place to be, because now I can gauge where Kevin McCann's going to break going up into turn number 1. That's going to be interesting here tonight. But yeah, big shout out to everyone joining us here on 3-Wide TV here tonight. I don't have the race pulled up on my phone or anything, so Bob, hopefully we got people watching in the chat, and hopefully we got people enjoying a little bit of the action here tonight. Let's see if we can very, very quickly. I don't even think we can bring up the grid yet. No, we don't. The fact that qualifying hasn't quite finished, but yeah, third spot. Long race, 30 laps here tonight.
Yeah, 30 laps, and this is definitely going to be a good one. Taking a look in the chat here, Stephen Doziak in the very beginning of the broadcast said RIP. The Windsor's in there cheering on Bill. Todd Kirkwood in the chat as well saying, this is a time I love starting parking. We got Ryder Angle in the chat cheering for Philip. Adams Racing in there saying, now this is going to be fun to watch after I wreck in turn 1. And Bo Batten in there cheering for Todd. So a good amount of people here hanging out in the chat. Thank you for hanging out in the chat here tonight on 3-Wide TV. It's the Thornton Graphix Total Nonstop Racing League Road Course Spectacular, featuring our in-race reporter and really race correspondent, Peter Short. And Peter, starting in third, what's the strategy for tonight's race?
Save the tires. Oh, this is going to be an interesting race. I'm just looking over at what going to be really tight, whether or not we can make it on just one stop here tonight. 30-lap race. iRacing is estimating 14 laps. I don't even think I ever ran enough laps for my Joel Real timing to get a estimate on how many laps we can get on fuel. So it might be one of those races where lift and coast might be a thing here tonight. Try and save some fuel. Of course, saving tire is going to be important here tonight. You saw how much wheel spin I was having out there. I blew it in a final corner there in my last qualifying lap. So we'll see. I mean, Kevin up there, he's fast. Got Buttafuoco, who's really fast. Newcomer to the league here in the Total Nonstop Racing League, Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. You got Timothy Johnston over there. We know Tim is fast. He's fast week in, week out. We got the American Ninja Warrior right behind me, Philip Scott. Anthony DeBarro's back there in the DeBarro Sliders, number 27 machine. I mean, I think saving tires is going to be important. I mean, you saw how I blew it there in qualifying there, Bob. So we just got to get out there and got to do our best to save tires and maybe save a little bit of fuel before the end of the race is over.
Yeah, definitely here is everyone getting ready to get out there on the racetrack. Thankfully, a shorter pace lap here for everyone, and this, in theory, should also be a caution-free track, caution-free race, knock on wood, barring any crazy accidents or anything along those lines. So this is going to be a long race, but a very fun one for us to call here. 30 laps and a tight race. 34 drivers out there on the racetrack. We'll take a look at the starting lineup Kevin McCann, Daniel Buttafuoco in row 1, starting first and second. Our very own Peter Short here in third, Timothy Johnston in fourth. Philip Scott, Anthony DeBarro in row number 3, Brian McCann, Bill Edwards in row number 4, and rounding out the top 10, the 38 machine of Vincent Valvano, and the 10th, the 98 of Tristan Maher. Mitchell Adams and Nick Cohan in 11th and 12th, Briar Fritz and Josh Gerlach rounding out the cars that did qualify in 13th and 14th. Robert Kenny and John Borst in 15th and 16th, Justin White, Jason Shue in 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th is Kevin Stone and Garrett Gleason. In 21st, Jason Gracia, Stephen Kegman 22nd, and James McKee, Fernando Matos 23rd, 24th, Mike Floppy Tellier 25th, Matthew Rodriguez in 26th, Todd Kirkwood and Stephen Dosiak Jr. 27th and 28th, Ben Izinga, Austin Grover, Lupe Gonzalez, Gail Brooks, Tom Bourne, and Bronson Stafford rounding out the field. As the field getting ready to go, green flag is in the air, and we are underway at the 3Wide TV Road Course Spectacular here at Circuit of the Americas. A good start there by Brian McCann. He's going to dive on down into turn number 1. Takes it a little bit wide here as we see Peter Short side by side with McCann. Right at his bumper now, right at the door to your right. Doing a bit of a combination broadcast and spotter. All clear now. So McCann in first, Peter Short second, and the rest of the field is going to be making their way now through the S's.
Yeah, just got to watch those tires. I know Kevin, ran a little bit wide in turn number 1. So I know his tires might just be a little bit more shot. You see him sliding out right there. Just got to keep it buttery smooth. Keep it buttery smooth, although I didn't right there. And just let the race come to me. I'm going to try and do. Try not to be too early on the brakes, although there, but Loco caught up to me. And now Kevin just pulling away just a little bit, which I'm okay with. Again, I'm kind of curious to know how fuel's going to be here tonight, so I got to watch that. But yeah, good start for us up to second.
A little bit of trouble there coming back through that very tight turn number 11. Brian McCann got on the brakes a little bit too hard, wound up getting a bit of wheel hop and got spun. Taking a look at the replay right now, I believe might have had a little bit of help here, and no, just kind of wheel hopped it, slammed on the brakes to get off of the 27 of DeBarro, wound up spinning himself around, had a little bit of contact with the 50 of Bill Edwards, but all is good to go. Everyone back running right now. Meanwhile, here at the front of the field, the 42 of Kevin McCann still starting to step away just a little bit, but Peter Short riding here in second. Daniel Buttafuoco about a half a second or so behind Peter. So a pretty good, clean race as of right now. Everyone, for the most part, getting together here as a couple of cars come together, or a little bit of blinking at least, further back in the field between the 57 of Matthew Rodriguez and I believe the 3 of Jason Shue had tangled just a little bit.
This is my first time driving a stock car in a long time. I think last time I drove a stock car was actually in the Total Nonstop Racing League back in season number 1, believe it or not. I just haven't had the desire to race stock cars, so kind of a different feel than the GT3s that I've been running in another league, and starting to feel all that extra weight, getting used to it again. It's a lot of fun. Just wrestling these things around the racetrack here, wrestling it over turn number 9 right here into turn number 10, excuse me. As you'll see, I got a 1X, so we don't have a penalty for 1Xs here tonight, or a penalty for any type of iRacing incident points, if you will. So that's something that these drivers will be mindful of, and some of them will probably be using to their advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a little bit of a strategy of, when to take those 1Xs, especially if you can get maybe a 10th or so on corner exit. Sometimes that's okay. Normally here in the Total Nonstop Racing League, we do have a penalty cap of, I believe, 20 incidents during the race, but obviously with this being a road course, it's very easy to get off course. They've waived that rule, thankfully, for all parties involved here for tonight's race. So, and you know, Peter, I was gonna, you know, talk to you about the difference between those GT3 cars and the stock cars here, as we're in a bit of a battle actually right now between you and Buttafuoco. Still about a car length ahead now. Buttafuoco looks to take a peek towards your inside, can't do so, and Peter driving away just a bit, but Buttafuoco right there, hot on your tail.
Yeah, I have to kind of gauge whether or not to save fuel, how much fuel to save, because right now we are 2 laps into the run, and it's estimating that I have 14 laps of fuel left, so I guess I'm okay for right now with the amount of fuel that I used last lap. So I just have to kind of keep an eye on that to make sure I actually can make it to the halfway mark. Hopefully I can, because I think a one-stop strategy will win the race. Whether it's me or someone else around me or Kevin McCann or someone else, we just have to minimize the mistakes here and keep an eye on the fuel gauge.
Yeah, that fuel gauge is definitely going to be important as this race goes on. 30 laps here, it does not seem like a lot, but when each of your laps are about 2 minutes and 15 seconds, those 30 laps will start to add up over time. So, you know, especially when it comes to saving fuel, saving tires as well. We've seen it when the tires just get too hot, there's no grip whatsoever, and that also leads to some incidents out there on the racetrack. So there's really nothing, you know, nothing set in stone. Always a tough thing to do here at this track, saving tires and fuel, but definitely something that can be doable here as we're only on lap number 3 out of 30. Taking a look at now a little bit further back in the pack. Couple of battles going on right now. Right now, just a good battle now between the 34 of Robert Kenny and the 55 of Steven Dosiak. Dosiak actually goes around, had it locked up just a little bit, trying to get down into that really tight turn number 10, as he is just a little bit off the pace at the moment. Able to get things going as Austin Grover able to get around him. Another good battle here now between the 22 of Stephen Kegman. Kegman just dives it in a little bit too hot as he's got pressure from the 38 machine of Vinny Valvano. This is a battle right now around the 18th position. Briar Fritz back there as well, up in 15th. And a good bit of battling all over the racetrack. Taking a look back out front now of the field, Kevin McCann still leading over Peter Short, about a 2-second or so gap. And then another second or so back to Daniel Buttafuoco in third. Tim Johnston and Anthony DeBarro round out your top 5. You see the scrolling bar up at the top of your screen. If you're just joining us, welcome to the 3Wide TV Road Course Spectacular here on 3Wide TV. Taking a look at the chat, Johnny Williams saying good luck all and hello to the booth. Hello to you, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
Looking forward to getting you back there at the out here on the racetrack sometime soon, we hope.
I don't know if it's really the booth here tonight. It's you are the booth, Bob. He's just saying hello to you, not me.
Touche. Well, hello, Johnny. Got Bo Batten in there saying, well, Todd, it's all downhill from here, bud. Can't get much worse. But hey, Todd Kirkwood right now running in the 23rd position, just behind Robert Kenny here. Doesn't look like any damage on his car, which is always a good thing. It's, you know, there's a handful of drivers out there with some front end and rear end damage, just kind of braking in a little bit too hard, or, well, not hard enough. So Todd Kirkwood right now sitting down in the 23rd position, about 50 some odd seconds behind the leaders. Johnny Williams pops in the chat saying, okay, well, hello, Peter.
Thanks, Johnny. How's it going, buddy? Hopefully he can get back in the car soon.
So we'll take a look here back at the front of the field. Not much has changed. Kevin McCann up at the front of the field. Peter Short closing in on him now as we come into turn number 20 down the long front straightaway. And just a very long technical lap here as the field starts lap number 5 right now. And just a hard, heavy braking point coming in here to turn number 1, and a very hard left-hander that's more than 90 degrees.
Yeah, that turn number 1, that blind apex is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Now, we had actually made some inroads on Kevin McCann, which is good news. We're actually starting to close in on him just a little bit. At least last lap, still a long way to go. Have to find those tires. I'm usually really rough on tires on road courses, so something I gotta keep my eye on here tonight. Gotta watch those curves that you just saw me hit right there. But yeah, having a good race.
Yeah, and those curves, especially through the S's there, those raised yellow bumps there will send your car flying, and the car is just too low to be able to go over them safely. So that's definitely one thing these drivers are going to have to keep an eye out for, is those turtles, and try not to run them over because it will upset the car something fierce for sure.
That car settle, shift it down into first gear, go for the apex, and power on off.
And that right there explains exactly what Jason Freeman is saying in the chat. Freeman says, announcing and driving, I can't even talk on ovals while driving to concentrate.
Oh, trust me, this has taken a lot more mental capacity than it does usually be commentating. I'm not a good commentator, folks, let's be honest. But thanks to everyone joining us in the chat here tonight on 3 Wide TV, Total Nonstop Racing, Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. I'm whipping it through turn number 15, 16, and 17, and 18, and now into turn number 19, trying to chase down the race leader.
Well, the good news is we're coming to 25 laps to go. The bad news is we're only on lap number 6, so a very long race for us ahead here. 30 laps here at Circuit of the Americas. And just kind of taking a look right now, everyone starting to spread out just a little bit. Nothing too wild and crazy going on. A look at the top 10 right now. Not much has changed there in the top 5. Still Kevin McCann, Peter Short, Daniel Buttafuoco, Timothy Johnston, and Anthony DeBarro is your top 5. Philip Scott moved his way up to 6th. Bill Edwards 7th. Tristan Maher in 8th, Nick Cohan in 9th, and James McKee making his way up there in 10th. Brian McCann, after a little bit of trouble on lap 2, has found himself right now sitting in the 11th place. Kevin Sohn, John Borst, Mike Floppy Tellier, and Jason Gracias, as Gracias makes his way around Izinga. I believe Izinga might have had a little bit of trouble going around this course.
Yeah, both Izenga and Jason Shue just retired their cars. So I'm not sure, Bob, maybe you can give us an update on the number 17 Canadian driver, as well as Jason Shue.
Yeah, so right now, taking a look at watching the replay myself of the 17 of Ben Izinga, made his way up there through turn number, well, I'm trying to see where this one is. Looks like the 15, 16, 17, 18 complex just got a little bit squirrely and lost control into the sand. And 17, it looks like he just kind of retired himself out of the race. So tough break there for Ben Izinga, still up there in the point standings. But unfortunately, I believe his night will be done. Meanwhile, Jason Shue, looks like he had came down pit road, got some tires, and decided to call it quits. So both Jason Shue and the 17 of Ben Izinga calling it a race as of right now. As we go now, taking a look to the inside, here's Peter Short on a mission right on the back bumper of that 42 machine of Kevin McCann.
Yeah, we caught him coming out of turn number 20. So we'll see what we can do. Whoa, going up around the outside, a little bit of a defensive line. Let's see if we can cut back underneath him here. Doesn't look like we can, just didn't quite get the bite off. That's okay though, we're right on him. Gotta get that pressure for the number 42.
Just a little bit of pressure there, about half a car length separates our leaders. Kevin McCann there on the inside. He looks like he took a very wide angle there going through the S's. Peter Short now gets around him. And we have a new leader, that number 33 machine. But don't count the 42 of McCann out just yet. He's still right on the back bumper there of Peter.
Yeah, he had a big bobble there, and I'm not sure if he thought that maybe I was getting to his inside, not sure. To avoid the contact. We're up at the front now.
And all of a sudden it's turned into a 3-car race. Daniel Buttafuoco just on the back bumper, about equidistant now between he and the 42 of McCann. Hard, heavy braking here into turn, I believe that's number 11 or 12. I should have the track map up in front of me. But unfortunately, I ran out of time here to print out a CODA map.
You're doing good, Bob. That was turn number 11. This is turn number 15. I have Kevin all over my back bumper again. It's going to be fun. Try to hold on to the race lead. But hey, if I lead a lap, that is mission accomplished here in the Dunn Raceway Park number 33 Chevrolet. Sporting the colors that Garrett Gleason typically races here in the series. I don't know how to use custom numbers. There's supposed to be custom numbers on this sucker, but no, it is what it is, and I'm just relishing this opportunity to be back in my home league. That's right, Total On-Stop Racing League was my first ever league back in the day, and we are the race leader.
Just like that, Peter Short going P1. Lap 8 out of 30. The field gets ready to start here. Take that tight left-hander down the hill, first up the hill, then down the hill through the S's in a big momentum portion of the racetrack, but it's got to be a little bit sweeter there leading this race instead of trying to chase someone down.
Yeah, and I gotta say, if of all the racetracks, this one is the one that means the most to me. This is my home racetrack. I'm born and raised in Austin, Texas, and I don't live in Austin anymore, but this racetrack is pretty special to me. The first time in the history of Total On-Stop Racing League, going back to the NASCAR Racing 2003 days, that we've ever raced it in Austin. So this race does mean a lot to me, and Garrett Gleason jumped on board earlier tonight and said, hey, buddy, come race tonight. Come race with us. Enjoy the race. He even called it the Peter Short Road Course Spectacular or something like that. So if that wasn't an invitation to drive, Bob, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and he had asked me if I had wanted to race too, and I told him that I would just be an absolute weapon out there. Maybe if it was a track like Watkins Glen or Sonoma or something like that, then maybe I could see, okay, I'll just kind of, twiddle my thumbs at the back of the field and try to get out of your way, but I am definitely much more comfortable up here in the broadcast booth for tonight's race instead of out there in the driver's seat for sure. So we're taking a look here at the rundown. We'll see that at the very top of our screen. A couple of cars have retired for tonight's race already. It looks like Steven Dosiak is off of the track right now. Ben Isinga, Jason Shu, Mitchell Adams, and Matthew Rodriguez are all off of the course right now.
Doze, where you at? Are you in the chat, Doze? What happened, bro?
Like Dosiak is in the pits as of right now. And I found the reason why. Going through the S's here.
Oh.
Just got a little too hot. Looped it a couple of times. Didn't make any contact with the wall, but had the frustration tow back to pit road.
That's that's not good. That's not good. Oh, speaking of not good, that curb is a little bit too much. That will hurt my lap time just a little bit. I screwed up turn number 1. Just need to calm down a little bit here. Try to get the car back underneath me. Might have overdid the tires just a little bit, trying to pull away from Kevin. Not able to do so. He's a very fast driver. We know that. Seen it over the past couple of weeks here in the Total Nonstop Racing League that McCann is quick. One very quick driver. And really honored to be racing up here at the front of the field with some of these guys because I'm a long, long way, Bob. I mean, I know we talk about it every week here on the channel when I'm up in the booth with you, that this series is really going places. It absolutely is. Drivers in this series are top notch.
They truly are. Yeah, they truly are. I mean, we started from small field sizes of, I mean, Peter, you were here in the rebirth of TNR longer than I have been, and even with the ARCA car, fields of 10, maybe 12 guys, to now where we have constantly fields of drivers over 30 each and every race, and that really is a testament to the administration here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Just second to none, guys like Garrett Gleason, Jason Freeman, Jason Gracias, Tristan Maher, Philip Scott. I mean, these guys really are ambassadors for this league, and and not only that, but the fans here watching on 3 Wide TV tonight, just the support from everyone has been overwhelming, and it's so great to see not only how large these fields are, but how clean and how talented all of these drivers that race with us each and every week is really just incredible.
Yeah, that's for sure. I made a couple mistakes that last lap. Kevin McCann was all over my back bumper. We were able to hold him off though, but I'm looking a little bit further back because Butterfuoco is absolutely closing in. He's seen these mistakes that we're making. It's hard racing, and I have again missed turn number 1. That's 2 laps in a row, and I think Kevin's going to make me punish for that one right here. Looks like he is. He's on my left side, coming out of turn number 1, and sure enough, new race leader, Kevin McCann, the number 42 machine. I got to find my rhythm back. I don't know if I need to back up my braking points. I think my tires here are starting to go. I got about 6 laps of fuel left. So we're closing in on the halfway mark. I'm coming in after lap number 15. That is for dang sure here. It is at the point now where tires are shot.
And you can definitely tell a lot of these drivers are having some tire issues, just a lot more slipping and sliding throughout the field. And I believe joining us right now here in the 3 Wide TV broadcast booth is, the driver of the 55 machine, Steven Dosiak. And Doze, if you're here with us, sitting on pit road now. I saw you got a little squirrely there coming through the S's. What happened?
Yeah, it was, I'm not a road racer. And, just those S's, I tried to downshift in the second gear coming from third and just got a little too squirrely. Tried to avoid one of the turtles on the right, and yeah, just didn't work out for me. But I did hop in here, and I've been watching this Philip Scott in the 99 and Bill Edwards battle of the 50. They were neck and neck for the longest time. Bill is starting to slide around, so Edwards could be, running low on tires as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be really interesting. I believe only, is it 2 sets of tires in the pits, I believe, for tonight's race? But, I mean, even if you do the one-stop strategy, by the end of that race, your tires are going to be just butter.
Yeah, my tires starting to feel like butter right now. I'll tell you what, Bob. That's a pretty good explanation of them. They are not grippy at all.
And that's going to be tough. Go ahead, Dose.
2 sets of tires for this 30-lap race here. So with this being a green flag run, do you save that extra set, or do you try and short pit twice and maybe catch somebody sleeping?
Yeah, and that's really the question here. I know Peter had said he's going to pit right around lap 15 or so and kind of split this race in half, and maybe you do pull a little sneaky pit strategy, wait for one guy to go in, pit, short pit, get some fresh tires there for the end of the race. It could really go any way here. Peter catches a bit of that turtle, gets airborne.
No damage, keep going.
But saying let's keep going, and He's going to keep going, closing in there on the back of that 42 machine of Kevin McCann. And this has just been a great battle all race long.
Oh, might have
between
damage after that one, though. That's
Peter
congrats.
getting launched up in the air. And that's going to open the door there for Buttafuoco. Buttafuoco to the inside. Can't quite get it done as they head off into the very tight left-hand turn number 10.
Yeah, I'm watching another battle back in field, 14th through 17th with Jason Gracias, Robert Kenny, Kevin Stone, and Vincent Valvano. I mean, these guys are nose to tail, and here we come up the straightaway, and Gracias leads him into turn 1.
Oh, Robert Kenny had a really late break there, able to dive it down into the corner. Everyone looking pretty decent so far as they head off through turn number 1, now into turn number 2 through the S's. But a good battle between these 4 cars. If you have an extra long blanket, you can fit all 4 of them underneath. But some really close, tight racing here for a road course, especially with these 4 drivers.
Yeah, sometimes racing road courses, you're almost running out there by yourself. So it's good to see these little races going on within the race. Keeps the drivers interested, and gives them something to work for if they may be off the pace compared to a Peter Short or somebody who's always going to run consistently well on road courses. So I'm happy to see these little battles go on.
And speaking of battles here, a good battle now for a second as the 30 of Daniel Buttafuoco is able to get around Peter Short, but right here Peter could have a chance. He's getting in close as they dive down into turn number 1. Not quite close enough to dive underneath, but both drivers get a pretty good run there coming out of turn number 1 down the hill into turn 2, and they're going to head off into the S's here. A tough place to go side by side, but let's see how this race is going to shape up now for second.
Yeah, the leader, Kevin McCann, has caught some lap traffic, and they're giving him a whale of a time up there. And we're both gonna close back in. I decided to give Buttafuoco the position there going through turn number 12. Looks like we got Todd Kirkwood here laying over for us. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it, buddy. And that allowed us both to catch up onto the race leader just a little bit. So that's something that is going to work to our advantage for sure.
And that's got to be tough, especially coming up upon lap traffic in that specific part of the racetrack too. Very narrow and not a whole lot of space outside of the racing line to get things done there. So very good job by Kirkwood and the 7 of Garrett Gleason to just say, you know what, you're the leaders, let us get out of the way, we don't want to ruin your race, and guys, have at it.
And that's another good thing. You were talking about this league, Bob. These guys who were, being lapped every now and then, they never put up a fight. They always let the leaders race. The last thing we want to do as drivers is, wreck the leader. We take this very serious, and, to show some respect to the leaders, it's the least that we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously the caveat there is if you're trying to stay on the lead lap and, or you can feel a caution coming or something like that, obviously you're going to stay try your best to stay on the lead lap, but keeping it clean as well is, one of the best parts about racing here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. I know I myself am going to be hoping to get out there on the racetrack for the super speedway races coming up. I know we have Talladega in a couple of weeks, and then Daytona in a few more weeks. It'll be the Polyhedral Cathedral 172 at Daytona. So that'll be a very, very fun race for me to get out there, and super speedways are a little bit more my style. Road courses, not so much.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Bob. As we just finished lap 13 here, or started lap 13, we still got a 3-horse race between McCann, Buttafuoco, and Peter Short. You're closing up on green flag pit stop, so does one of these guys pull the trigger early and go for that undercut, or try and outlast each other? But these next 2-3 laps are going to get interesting here, Bob.
Yeah, that's for sure. And, Peter had said, he's going to come in right around lap number 15, and, we'll see how that one works for us as, I believe the 21 of Nick Cohan is going to be, I don't know if he's heading down pit road or had a bit of a moment there, but he's going to head off down turn number 1 right now. Looks like, oh yeah, the 21 of Nick Cohan coming through the carousel, for lack of a better phrase, turns 15, 16, 17. Got a little too hot now through 19, wound up looping it around. Didn't make any contact though, and he's ready to get himself back up and underway. So no harm, no foul there for the 21 machine. A little bit of a connection issue right after that, but Cohan, no worse for wear now, currently sitting in P11.
I'm back in the field here watching this Bill Edwards, Anthony DeBarro battle going on. And speaking of Bill Edwards, the Circuit of the Americas that we're racing at, Bill Edwards with the American flag colored paint scheme. I mean, that goes hand in hand with this racetrack, and I do believe Bill paints his own cars. And Bill, that's a great car if you're listening to this broadcast later on tonight or tomorrow.
I know the Windsors are in the chat cheering on Bill. And yeah, Bill's an excellent painter. So many talented painters here for these race cars in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Obviously, Billy Thornton with Thornton Graphix does a great job with graphics and everything in general. Chris Darling with Max Graphics. Bill Edwards with Fatal Concepts. Just a lot of really talented painters in this league, as well as drivers.
Yeah, and you even got a little cross league with Johnny Williams, a big part of TNR, and Max Graphics with Chris Darling. I know some of those, they collaborate on some paint schemes together. They always do great work. It's amazing to see what these guys could do on a computer. I mean, it's just driving style and painting style. These guys are remarkable.
That's for sure. And Johnny actually had painted my car from last season. I'm updating things just a little bit. A new sponsor on my number 23 machine. My buddy Bronson at Polyhedral Cathedral had jumped on board with me, and I'll be representing his Etsy shop. You can check him out, or etsy.com/shop/Polyhedral Cathedral. Everything Dungeons and Dragons related. You can check him out with 3D printing and laser cut mirror sheets and all the D&D stuff you need. He's got you covered. So you can check him out at etsy.com/shop/Polyhedral Cathedral. Really looking forward to having him on the car for Talladega and Daytona, and it's going to be a fun one for sure.
Oh, Bob, I'm watching this lead battle of the 3 cars. Coming up to lap 15 here. Who blinks first? Is it Peter on lap 15, or is it McCann or Buttafuoco? I mean, this is a 3-horse race, clearly, and it's going to be interesting, this pit strategy coming up here.
Yeah, it really is, and it's going to be a matter of, okay, who saved enough fuel in the first place. And as we're saying this, the 42 of Kevin McCann is going to dive down pit road right now. He'll relinquish the lead. Daniel Buttafuoco now is going to take over P1, and Peter going up to P2.
Yeah, this next...
Guys, that's really big because we're not yet to the halfway mark, and I'm really tight on fuel right now. I'm making it to the halfway mark. I'm going to make it. But I think McCann's going to have to save a lot of fuel. We talked earlier in the show about maybe saving a little bit of fuel. I did. I was just wondering if McCann maybe didn't save enough fuel under this run, and he's going to have to maybe potentially pit again before the end of the race.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Peter, I believe Kevin had that same issue last week when we were racing at Iowa Speedway, where just wound up running out of fuel towards the end of the race. So, maybe fuel saving is just a little bit of a tough point there for that 42 machine of Kevin McCann. So this is definitely going to be interesting here, as we're at 16 laps to go out of 30 here at Circuit of the Americas. If you're joining us here on 3Wide TV, welcome. It's the Total Nonstop Racing Thornton Graphix Grand National Series, the 3Wide TV Road Course Spectacular here at COTA featuring our in-race correspondent Peter Short, currently in P2, looking to chase down that 30 machine of Daniel Buttafuoco just in front. And we've got ourselves a pretty good race so far. The top 3 drivers that we're seeing right now are, well, the top 2 at the moment are Daniel Buttafuoco and Peter Short. The next closest driver is, just about 12 seconds or so behind this battle right now. So it's going to be interesting to see now that Kevin McCann was able to get down pit road, where everyone else is going to be thinking about pitting. Does that send the 30 down to pit sooner than he had expected? Or let's see what the strategy is here as the field comes by now through turn number 19. And looks like both Peter and Buttafuoco are going to be heading down pit road. And a long pit road at that, and a slow pit road, as that one is just around 40 miles an hour.
I was watching the relative there, Bob. When these 2 lead cars came into the pit, they were 33 seconds up the track. This might be a race off of pit road here, and this could be an interesting turn 1, just to see where Buttafuoco and Peter Short come out. Kevin McCann, it's gonna be a tight race off of pit road here.
And this is going to be it right here. 4 tires and fuel. Both Buttafuoco and Short are underway. And a great stop for both of these drivers here. And now they're going to have to deal with a little bit of traffic as these drivers heading down now through turn number 1. And if everything is going according to plan, that should be the first and final pit stop here tonight for these drivers. Some more drivers heading down pit road right now. And a little bit of trouble there for Peter. Just clipped a little bit too much of the curb.
Too much grip. I have to slow up, give up the time that I gained by doing that, lose a ton of time there. Man, I wasn't used to the grip and just turned it straight into the curb. That will affect me, I'm sure. That was probably a little bit of front end damage. And now I have a lot of work to do to catch up to the front 2.
Well, taking a look at the live camera right now, nothing cosmetic right now on the front end of your car. So as of right now, everything looking pretty clean as far as body damage or other bits of damage that I can see anyway.
All right, I'll take it.
The combination spotter and broadcaster definitely helping out here. I wouldn't say an unfair advantage at all. So, always a good thing.
Yeah, you guys notice I don't actually have my spotter turned on, so you're all I have, Bob.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing as this race is going to be going on, but, we've got 15 laps to go here, and as the field is starting to cycle its way through, I believe Timothy Johnston, if he has yet to pit, which I don't think he has.
He has.
Or he
lap
has pit.
16. He came in with Peter and Daniel.
All right, well then there we go. So everyone back out there on the racetrack, and once everyone cycles through, we'll find out who the leader is. I believe Kevin McCann has been able to pick back up on the lead, and Daniel Buttafuoco in second, Peter in third, Timothy Johnston, I believe, should be in fourth as the field cycles around. Is my timing and scoring a little bit slow to update today?
Yes, and Philip Scott is rounding out your top 5.
So a good battle here as Peter able to get around the slower machine of the 22 of Stephen Kegman.
Yeah, not hit the yellow curbs this time, guys.
You know what? I was actually about to say that. Didn't hit the turtles this time. Able to cleanly get through the S's here, and now you're going to be setting your sights on the 21 machine of Nick Cohan. Cohan, a little bit of a tough race here. Had an issue, wound up going off track. 1 lap down tonight. Currently in the 19th position. We're used to seeing Nick up there towards the front. So a little bit of a tough break there for the 21 machine. I believe he said pre-race that this one not exactly his style of racing, but he said he's going to go out there and give it his all, and right now sitting in the, I believe, 18th or 19th position.
We got another close battle on the track. The 0 car of John Borst and the 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier. They're coming in here to, I believe it's turn 19-20 as they head up the long front stretch. Tellier behind him, gonna look to the inside, maybe pull a Hamilton and just send it like he did yesterday on Verstappen into corpse.
Let's hope it doesn't get as heated as the Hamilton Verstappen there. Is just some good battles all throughout the track. That is a great battle right now between Borst and Tellier. Let's just hope we don't have any too crazy Hamilton incidents.
Yeah, I felt, being this is a Formula 1 track and that happened yesterday, it was the perfect timing as they headed into turn 1 side by side.
Honestly, that's it's phenomenal there. Taking a look here at the front of the field now, Kevin McCann still pulling away just slightly, has about a 1 second or so lead over the 30 of Daniel Buttafuoco. Now, car coming out of pit road, the 71 of Josh Gerlach, he's going to have to yield for the leaders. And a good heads-up move there by the 71, otherwise would have been a little bit closer for comfort than all of us would have liked between he and the 33 of Peter Short.
Yeah, you guys are my backseaters here tonight on 3 Wide TV. Thanks for tuning in to the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. I am your driver here tonight, your taxi driver, I guess, here on the channel is Bob, and now Stephen Doziak, who retired his number 55 machine out of the car here. We're trying to close in on your front two. I really think Kevin McCann can't make it on fuel, so that's something that is in my favor here. But I'm kind of hoping that these front two really get racy here over the next few laps or so, and maybe allow me to close in.
And as you say that, the 30 of Buttafuoco there locked up the left front, heading on into that very tight turn number 10. So all you need is just a few more lockups, let Buttafuoco melt the tires just a little bit, heat them up too much, and he'll be right back in there, Peter. Only about 3 seconds or so separate you and Buttafuoco. So still plenty of time to go, and not too bad distance to go as well.
No, and like Peter mentioned, the million-dollar question is, does Kevin McCann have enough fuel to run these last 12 laps? He did pit a lap earlier than expected at the halfway mark, so is he going to try and save some fuel, or does he have enough to make it to the end?
And that's the toughest part about it is you're the leader. You have second place, who more likely than not can make it all the way on fuel, right on your back bumper. And if I'm Buttafuoco, I'm going to be there and pressure McCann to kind of push as hard as he can, just so he does waste a little bit more fuel and chew up and heat up those tires a little bit more than he needs to, and just kind of sneak his way to have him use up that fuel as the leaders come by now on complete lap number 18 with just 12 laps to go here at Circuit of the Americas.
Well, Peter, you and Daniel pitted on the same lap. Do you have enough fuel to make it to the end?
I'm right now showing that I am 0.2 of a gallon to the good. That is not a lot of fuel, all things considered. So if I'm only 0.2 of a gallon to a good, we're burning more than 1/10 of a gallon as I got a side-by-side battle up here for the lead in front of me. That's really allowing me to close in. I like what I see up here. And yeah, if I can just close in on Buttafuoco here, we could be a 3-car battle for the lead.
Yeah, and this is going to be shaping up for a great battle there as Buttafuoco took a peek to the inside, couldn't quite get there. And now they're going to head down into turn number 10, a very tight left-hand corner. Much more than 90 degrees here. Buttafuoco goes wide. He's going to take a look to the inside. Now we're side by side for the lead, coming down the long back straightaway. And right here, the draft could definitely become a factor, not only in saving fuel, but losing fuel now as his leaders are side by side going off into turn number 11. Hard braking. Let's see who blinks first. It's going to be Buttafuoco going down to the inside. McCann braking hard and heavy, looking to maybe get a little bit of a crossover. Can't quite do so. and you can slot Daniel Buttafuoco up to P number 1 and McCann down to P2, but don't count Peter Short out just yet. He's the third car in the train of 3, all within about half a second of each other here as we come through the tight section of turns 15, 16, 17, and 18 as well. The multi-apex corner, this is shaping up to be one heck of a battle.
Yeah, Peter wished for their side-by-side racing to close the gap. He got it. And now we have a 3-car lead breakaway within a second of each other.
They're heading out of turn number 20 now, down the long front straightaway, up the hill to a blind left-handed apex, turn number 1, down the hill turn towards 2, and the S's. Let's see what happens here as Peter hard on the brakes, getting down just within striking distance of the 2 leaders. Buttafuoco has a little bit of a better launch off than McCann. McCann's slowly starting to catch back up, but don't forget all of this battling now. The leaders have to keep an eye out on their fuel. Peter had said he was only about 0.2 of a gallon to the good, which at a track this large is really close. And we know Kevin McCann pitted 1 lap sooner than these drivers, so it's going to be interesting to see if McCann can make it, but at this point I really do not think Kevin McCann can make it on this tank of fuel. So this is going to be interesting here with 11 laps to go here at Circuit of the Americas.
Do you think maybe he tried to fall into second place to pick up that draft on some of these longer straightaways to try and save some fuel? I mean, this is going to be too close to call.
That's for sure, and we thank you all for joining us here on 3Wide TV. If you are in the chat, make sure you give us a like, give us a subscription as well. Getting close to the next milestone here of subscribers here on 3Wide TV. And hey, if you're watching, make sure you give us that thumbs up, leave us a comment, let us know who you're cheering on tonight. It's the 3Wide TV Road Course Spectaculars. We've got side-by-side action here for second. Peter on the inside of the 42 of Kevin McCann. He's got him cleared coming out of the corner. Oh, a little bit of contact there as the 42 was able to get right to the inside. But no damage on either car. Here is now the 14, I believe that is, just able to slide himself out of the way. And we've got a pretty good battle here shaping up as the field comes through turn number 19, now in a turn number 20, a hard left-hand turn, about a 90-degree corner. We're going to be launching ourselves back down the front straightaway.
Peter, as an F1 fan, you just passed the DRS detection zone. I'm guessing you wish you had DRS on these cars right now to help propel yourself past Kevin McCann.
That's one way to put it, for sure. At that, but we do not in these NASCAR Xfinity cars. Only the F1 cars have that gimmicky stuff. Although I say that, NASCAR has some gimmicky cautions. It is what it is. But
gimmicky? What? No, never.
We don't have any of that stuff here in Total Nonstop Racing League. This is just heads up. Good 3 cars battling for the win here tonight.
Yeah, racing the way it ought to be here at Total Nonstop Racing. No stages, no other weird things. Here's, a little bit of a logjam here as Vinny Valvano, the lap car, just kind of stuck there with no other place to go. But luckily, though, we see the field get through Vinny with no problem. And a good battle for the lead still going out. Taking a look here at the chat, Todd Kirkwood saying that's not going to help the fuel. That's for sure. A lot of side-by-side racing, definitely not. But the long straightaway here, a little bit of draft, probably not a whole lot of help, but I'm sure a little tiny bit of help here is Peter gonna take a look to the inside of McCann. Can't quite do it, slides it just a bit.
Yeah,
but no worse from there.
A little bit of wheel hop there, and I felt it coming, and Kevin was a heads up there. That was some great heads up driving by the number 42 machine. Sorry about that, Kevin. I know it caused you to lose a little bit of time. Didn't mean for that to happen. Just thought about it there.
And just one of those racing deals here as the field makes its way now through the multi-apex section of turns 15, 16, 17, and I'm sure there's an 18 somewhere in there as well. But a good battle here shaping up as the field's going to come to 9 laps to go. And now the question on everyone's mind, who is able to make it all the way on fuel? I know, Peter, you had said you were about 0.2 of a gallon to the good. Where are you looking now?
We're at 3/10 right now of a gallon to the good on my app. So we're still really tight on the number 33 machine. Leaders caught some lap traffic here. That might work to our advantage. Jason Gracias in that number 1 Max graphics machine, he's not going to back down too easy, I don't think. So might allow all of us, and of course this is not really a good passing zone as well until you get up to around here is where it starts to become a good passing zone again. And you see Kevin McCann dive to the inside of Gracias right there. So Gracias here gonna, I think, let all of us go on by. Thank you, JG. Appreciate it, bro. And that did allow us to close in a little bit on Buttafuoco.
And Gracias there was the last car on the lead lap. Now the leaders set their sights on the 34 machine of Robert Kenny, just outside of the top 10. He's certainly sitting there right now in 13th place. And unless anything catastrophic happens, no lucky dogs or anything like that for tonight's race. So what you see is what you are going to get.
And what a season Robert Kenny's been having on 3 Wide Television over in the NSRA Super Speedway Series. I believe that's 3 or 4 wins. Good to see him over here on Monday nights driving these Xfinity cars as well.
Yeah, Kenny's been having a really solid season there over in the Super Speedway Series for National Sim Racing Association. Definitely one league that if I didn't have other commitments Thursday nights, that would be a league that I would be signed up for in a heartbeat, because Super Speedway racing is really the only form of racing that I'm somewhat decent at. So, you know, always a good time to go out there on the Super Speedways, and those races are a heck of a lot of fun. You can watch them Thursday nights right here on 3 Wide TV. Leaders all here in striking distance as the laps start ticking down. 8 laps to go here as the field comes across the start-finish line. And as you see, that last set of that last line there on the racetrack is not the start-finish line. Start-finish line is actually further or closer towards turn number 20. So, you know, that's the first line I believe you cross is actually the start-finish line there for these cars. So they're using the Formula 1 start-finish, or this Formula 1 finish line. As you see the stanchions going across the racetrack, that is for the start of the Formula 1 grid. So a little confusing out there if you've never seen Circuit of the Americas before, but a very beautiful, beautiful venue for sure.
Now, Bob, I have a question. If you were in this situation, you know you have 1 set of tires left in the pits, and it will be close on fuel. Do you come in, take those sets of tires to try and hopes and run down these lead pack? Or do you just pray that, you know, one of these guys runs out of fuel and you could capitalize on it?
I feel like at this point, the fuel is going to be the most important thing out there, for me at least. I know tires would definitely be helpful, but at this stage of the race, especially with the top 3 drivers so close to one another, I personally would rather try to save fuel. Tires are tires. You know, I would obviously love to get fresh tires, but if we're just racing right now and trying to save fuel at the same time, fuel is going to be my main concern. If I can make it all the way, I'm going to do my best to.
Yeah, and as we see Kevin McCann here, he's closed up on the back bumper of Daniel Buttafuoco. Peter Short is still within striking distance here. You know, as we come across the line in this upcoming lap for 6 to go.
Yeah, so 6 laps to go here at Circuit of the Americas. or pardon me, it'll be about 7 laps to go rather here, and it's definitely shaping up to be one heck of a battle. We see the leaders slip sliding just a little bit more as the tires are definitely starting to wear. And if I'm Kevin McCann right now, I am just hoping that I am saving enough, and saving an entire lap of fuel is very, very difficult to do here at this 3-point-some-odd mile road course at Circuit of the Americas.
Of course, it could just be, Bob, that I'm using more fuel than these other people around me, and so I'm kind of close, whereas they're not. That's a possibility as well. I'm a little bit throttle happy. I'm also a little bit curb happy, if you can tell. But you know, maybe that's a possibility that maybe these guys are actually saving more fuel than I am, and maybe Kevin can actually go 16 laps. That would be an interesting thing. He might be saving fuel. I mean, obviously he's ducked in behind him, like we said, and all of a sudden it seems like he's really picked it up here, trying to close in on the back of Daniel Butterfield.
Yeah, so let's see if Kevin McCann or McCannot make it all the way here on fuel. With only 7 laps to go, really anything is possible. And you know, Peter, last we chatted, you had about 0.3 of a gallon to the good. Still looking that way?
Yeah, we're still right on that magic number for my calculations. So hopefully that is the case.
And Peter, we saw you take a curb a little too close there. Tell everybody listening what it feels like inside that car when you do hit that curb.
All of a sudden, every little bit of grip that you had is gone. I mean, it makes sense, all right? All your tires are up on the ground. You're just hoping and praying for a brief moment that when your car hits the ground, that your car will hit the ground okay, you know? That it won't bounce back in the air, it won't do anything odd, it just will kind of hit the ground running, if you will. And that's what we've had a couple times here tonight. We had it just after we came off pit road. Ruining that mistake right now, but all things considered, hasn't seemed to hurt the car, which is good news.
And as we see here, you have the 16 of Briar Fritz just to your outside, still there, all clear now, as Fritz very graciously able to slide offside and let the leaders get around now through this very technical and tight section of S's. And those yellow bumps that you see there on the racetrack right there as Peter goes around him, those are those turtles that are launching the car up in the air. You don't want to get too much of the curb, because like Peter had said, that is really, really going to upset your race cars. We have Peter right on the back bumper of the 42 machine of Kevin McCann. Daniel Buttafuoco still just a little bit outside of these two at about 1.5 seconds or so, give or take, ahead of this battle. So still plenty of time to go, but the laps are ticking down. 6 laps to go now, really 5.5, as the leaders head down this long back straightaway.
Peter, you've raced with these guys now for the last 25 laps. Being in third place, where do you feel like your best opportunity is to make a move on this track?
Nowhere.
To propel yourself?
Kevin McCann is lightning quick out of the slowest portion of the racetrack down the back stretch, and that's the one portion of the racetrack where we saw Buttafuoco make a pass on McCann. McCann is just really fast right now out of there. That is probably the best spot to make a pass on this track. So right now I'm hoping for just a little slip up in the number 32 machine, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely. And the question is, can they still make it on fuel? We've heard Peter say, he's about 0.3 or 0.4 gallons to the good. So we'll see how Buttafuoco is. Buttafuoco and Peter should be on the same strategy, but Kevin McCann pitted 1 lap sooner. So is he able to save the fuel, or is fuel not going to be a factor for these front runners? We're definitely going to find out here as the field takes 5 laps to go here at the 3 Wide TV Road Course Spectacular. here at the Total Nonstop Racing Thornton Graphix Grand National Series, as we see the 30 of Buttafuoco lock him up just a bit heading off into turn number 1, but a little bit of bobble here out of the 33 machine as well.
Yeah, just got on the power a little bit too much there, unfortunately. Hoping that these two can start racing with one another kind of hard. We had a good S's right there. We caught them just a little bit. Hopefully we can continue that here, through here, and then up through these section, hit the curb a little bit too much there. Hit on the brakes here. One thing that I wish I'd played around with was maybe the brake bias a little bit. Just, I think my brake bias is maybe a little bit too far forward, and it's hurting me rotate the car a little bit. But I really, it's too late in the race to start fiddling around with something like that, because you can make a mistake and it can go bad in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, you have a top 3 car here clearly, Peter. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it'll be interesting to see these last 5 laps per se pan out here. Man, Bob, I'm starting to get ready to bite my nails to see if these guys are going to make it on fuel or not.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tight here, as we see right now the gap between these 3 drivers and the next closest driver, Timothy Johnston, is only 34 seconds, and then behind him is another minute or so between Timothy Johnston and Philip Scott. So this right now is the closest battle out there on the racetrack, and the most exciting one for sure here, is we've got less than 5 laps to go. It'll be 4 to go when they get to the line, and the leaders only separated by less than 1 second. So everyone really in lockstep here at the in the closing laps here of tonight's race. Taking a look here in the chat, we have Andrew Himmelman hanging out. He said he hears Peter is quite the wheelman, and as we're seeing tonight, that is for sure. Todd Kirkwood saying, man, I wish I was still in there. I was starting to figure out the track. Also says that the turtles are brutal, and we've definitely seen how unforgiving those yellow turtles can be here, especially in these closing laps. And the Windsors in there cheering on Bill as well. So a lot of people hanging out in the chat. Thank you for tuning in here. It's for tonight's race here at Circuit of the Americas. A little bit of a different format here, as Peter is currently competing in the race in 3rd right now, and a really good looking run for him as the laps just start ticking down here. 4 to go, and this is a good one.
Bob, I was just going over in my head here. We interviewed the top 3 here, you know, podium finishers. Who's going to interview Peter? Is he just going to interview himself? I mean, he is racing, he is a broadcaster. What do you think the chat would like to hear?
You know, I think we should leave that one up to the chat, but I would certainly be down to have Peter take Peter, and you and I, Doze, can take with one of the other top 3 finishers for tonight's race, should everything go ahead. Andrew Himmelman in the chat says, we want Garrett, so you might have to pick up G for some post-race interviews as well.
League Commish interviews head broadcaster. Andrew, you know, we know you're a part of this league. We wish you were here on track with us tonight.
Yeah, definitely missing you out there on the track, Andrew. We have had Jason Freeman in the chat as well. Johnny Williams in there with us earlier. So a lot of drivers unable to make it for tonight's race, but that's okay. Still had a very, very strong field. 34 drivers have entered. Right now, 29 cars were able to take the green flag. And still a lot of cars not only on the lead lap, 10 cars there on the lead lap, and you know, a lot of drivers still out there on the racetrack. Only a handful of retirees for tonight's race. But now 3 laps to go, and we'll see how this one goes here, as these drivers really having to brake hard, heading off into turn number 1, fighting the car on some very old slidey tires. And right around now is when the question mark might be, can Kevin McCann save enough fuel in order to make up that 1 lap difference between the other two leaders is, oh, Buttafuoco hits those turtles. He gets sideways. He's going to lose P1 to Kevin McCann, but he's going to be battling back right here. Kevin McCann is going to be taking the lead. Buttafuoco still falling back just a little bit as we see Peter Short right on the back bumper of the 30.
I was just getting ready to say, Bob, coming down into turn 2 and through the S's, it looked like these guys picked up the pace. I think they realize, hey, now it's go time. There's no playing for second or third place. All three of these drivers want the win.
That's for sure here as we see the drivers coming through turn number 10 now down the long back straightaway. Kevin McCann now in P1, Daniel Buttafuoco in P2, Peter Short in P number 3. And right here, a great passing opportunity coming. We've seen Buttafuoco take the lead coming through this corner. And let's see if Peter's able to get around him. He will for now, at least, as Peter able to clear the 30 machine of Buttafuoco, and he's going to set his sights now. The 30 just right there, very close to call. He's all clear now, as Buttafuoco just putting on the pressure now of Peter.
Yeah, that was a great passing opportunity by Peter. He took advantage. He was able to hold the inside for the upcoming turn as well. Buttafuoco is not going away easily, though. Now the question is, did McCann save enough to, take this checkered flag in P1?
And we shall see now as the field heads off through turn number 20, back down onto the front straightaway. 2 laps to go now. And right here, we'll see if there's a difference in fuel, as Buttafuoco looked to maybe take a look to the inside, not quite doing anything there, as he's not in striking distance just yet. And we'll see now as the field goes through turn number 2 and heading off towards the S's. 1-lapped car ahead of this field. So we'll see if that winds up being a factor here, as the lap car had a little bit of trouble heading off through the S's. That's the 83 of Austin Grover. And Grover looks like he is going to pull aside and let the leaders go through. And a very smart, much appreciated move there by the 83 of Austin Grover. And this is shaping up to be quite the last 2 laps.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better finish coming down to the wire here. 3-car battle all within a second. And the million-dollar question, does McCann have enough fuel?
Yeah, we will certainly see. I mean, McCann looks like he's been shot out of a rocket ever since he was able to get around the 30 of Buttafuoco. But that could be good, that could be bad, that could be great for Kevin if he's saying, you know what, I am confident, I have plenty of fuel to make it to the end, I'm just going to go for it and gun it. Or he could be saying, you know what, I'm going to try to get as big of a lead as I can, and maybe if I have to coast through the last couple of corners, build up that lead as much as possible, and hopefully take the checkered flag while coasting and out of fuel. But still anyone's race here, and another factor to that strategy is the start-finish line is much closer to the end of turn 20 than it is closer towards turn 1. So that also could be a bit of a strategy, saying, you know what, even if I think I'm going to run out through turns 19 and 20, maybe I can coast my way to the line.
Yes, 100%. As we get ready to start our last 3.43 miles here at Circuit of the Americas, you do have Kevin McCann, followed by Peter Short and Daniel Buttafuoco, as we take the white flag as the leaders.
The New Jersey contingent there representing my home state, Daniel Buttafuoco there in third. A perfect Jersey name. Nice Italian last name there for Buttafuoco, as right now riding on board here with Peter Short. That is the gap right there between P1 and P2, just about 1.3 seconds. And that's all that separates these two leaders. Now let's see who has enough fuel. We believe Peter should have enough fuel to make it to the end of this lap. The question is, can McCann make it all the way to the end of the race as well, as Daniel Buttafuoco there back in third.
I mean, this last lap, Bob, I mean, you were just pushing the car to its absolute limit. I mean, late braking, early on the throttle on exit. I mean, apexing it as close as you could. You're just throwing the kitchen sink at this track right now in hopes that either the person in front of you slips up or the person behind you makes a mistake.
Absolutely, and on top of that, not only you're battling the car, but those tires as well. They are pretty much killed at this point with no grip whatsoever, and it's just going to be hard to control the car and get that throttle down to translate that power. But we will see here as the field comes through the turn 15 through 18 complex. Right here, will McCann have enough? Does Peter have enough fuel here?
The gap did close down to 0.8, 0.7 seconds. Is McCann slowly starting to run out of fuel, or, you know, did Peter and Buttafuoco just, you know, decide to step on it and make this last-ditch effort to get P1?
Well, here they are coming out of turn number 20, down onto the front straightaway. Checkered flag is in the air. Kevin McCann able to save enough fuel. McCann is going to win at COTA. In second place is going to be the 33 of Peter Short, Daniel Buttafuoco in third. And we wait for the rest of the field to make its way across the start-finish line, but Timothy Johnston, as of right now, fourth. Philip Scott, great run for him in fifth. And Anthony DeBarro, sixth. James McKee, seventh. Brian McCann, eighth. Bill Edwards in ninth. Tristan Maher is going to be in 10th.
I wonder if Kevin has enough fuel to make it back to burn it down for us there, Bob.
You know, that's going to be the question right there, is he going to be able to?
He had a lot more fuel in that thing than I expected.
That's for sure. Maybe we're going to have to check, check post-race there to see if he's got any of the, that extra long fuel line in that car. But, man, I am surprised he was able to not only save that much fuel, but be able to make it all the way after pitting a lap before everyone else.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better battle there, Bob, Peter. I mean, Peter, it was incredible of a drive for you. Wow, I can't wait for these post-race interviews.
That is for sure, as the majority of the field still coming across the start-finish line. Anthony DeBarro coming across the line right now. Same with James McKee. Still only a handful of drivers still have yet to make it across the line. And is that sound Peter out of fuel?
Yeah, guys, she's out. She's sputtering. I'm trying to get her back around to pit road, but one of you guys might have to come out here and rescue me.
Yeah, I'll get on the horn now and get one of those bumper trucks out there to give you a bit of a push. Only a couple more turns to go, but we'll see her. And I believe the 98 of Tristan Maher might also be slowing down to a crawl, possibly out of fuel as well.
Yeah, she's out, guys. Dead. It's downhill from here, so if I can make... Well, actually, no. I'm not going to make it, because the run up to the pit road is... yeah, you guys are going to have to come out and pick me up, please.
All right, I'll let me get up on the horn there and try to call the safety crew over there to give you a push. I believe Tristan Maher is possibly going to be able to make it across the line, and he does. Maher going to be finishing there in 10th. His last lap was 3 minutes, .776. Taking a look in the chat there, Ben Adams saying, I have no idea how he was able to save that much fuel. And that was kind of the question we all were thinking about as we start getting ready for our post-race interviews here. And Doze, if you'd like to take P number 3, we'll have you get things started there. I believe you're down there with Daniel Buttafuoco.
I will bring him up to the booth right now, actually. We might need Peter to drag him up.
I'm assuming it's Lucky Dog 385. I assume so. So let me drag him up here to the booth for you guys.
Daniel Buttafuoco, this is Steve Doziak in the 3-Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Wow, what an exciting 30 laps. P3 on the night. Tell us about tonight here at Circuit of the Americas.
Well, it's a very challenging track for sure. A first race here, so very hard. I didn't know what to expect. Honestly, I thought top 15 was going to be a great night for us because this is kind of irresponsible, but I literally bought the track like a few minutes before 7, and I'm like, all right, let's just roll with it. And bought the track and ran some laps down in practice, and we were pretty fast off the get-go, and then qualified second, then led a lot of laps out in the lead there. We had some good pace. Track heated up, which I wasn't aware of, and therefore I was roasting the tires pretty bad, which is what pretty much cost us the race. But overall, really happy, especially after last week, where there's a lot of promise, and the track where I'm not that all familiar with. I'm very happy with the results so far.
Yeah, for just buying the track before the session opened, P3, it's quite an accomplishment. It looked like a 3-horse race, throughout the evening. You and Peter both pitted on the same lap, with Kevin pitting a lap before you. Did you think he was going to run out of fuel? I mean, we were going nuts up in here trying to figure out this fuel strategy.
I wasn't too sure, honestly. I mean, I was just going to run my own race and try to get around him with the lap pressure tires that I had, and lap traffic was hard to get around. And I think as the lap started to wind down, I realized that he's probably going to make it. So I was just trying to hold on, just because I didn't do a good enough job keeping the rear tires on it. But I wasn't sure. Towards the end of the race, I wasn't my focus. I was just making sure I stayed ahead of him and I think it was Peter there. So either way, a little upset at myself because I don't know how I just hit the little curb there and washed up, and then I just tried to hold on to it, but I didn't want to spin myself out or take anyone else out because that was a real handful there. But overall, great race. I think Texas is next week, so I'm excited about that. Try to get some laps in and just try to take it a race at a time, and hopefully we have a good season.
Yeah, we're staying in the great state of Texas here for the following week as we head to Texas Motor Speedway. Before we let you go, any shout-outs or thank yous you'd like to give out?
Yeah, I want to say a big shout out to all my friends for the great support in esports, especially when over in the pro league, and especially trying to transition over here to iRacing because I'm still very new. So all my friends for the great support, my family for always being there throughout this whole esports journey, and for you guys for putting on a great broadcast, and to everyone from the TNR staff putting on these great races. That was a really great race up there in front. So hopefully we can have another race like that next week at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, you had a great drive tonight, P3. Nothing to be ashamed about. You led some laps. Overall, it was a successful night for you. So congratulations.
Thank you, man.
And there you have it, folks. That was P3, Daniel Buttafuoco. Bob, you're up next.
All right, well, I am down here with our second place finisher, the guy we've been riding along with all night long, the 33 machine of Peter Short. And, well, Peter, we saw the whole race there, and a good battle there towards the end. Take me through your thought process as the laps were winding down.
Oh man, that was crazy. I really thought that Kevin was going to run out of fuel. So when I got around Daniel, I was pretty ecstatic at that point. But then I noticed Kevin started to scoot away. I think we might have been a little bit faster than him at the end. There was a spot there where I looked to his inside, couldn't quite pull off the pass. That was when I was in third. But I mean, it was a great race up at the front of the field. Finally started to figure out the track. Made some. I mean, you guys saw. You rode on board with me for the entire race. I made some mistakes, but I mean, it is what it was. It was my first race in a stock car, and ever since the GNS series ended, that we had back in the ARCA cars, the very first season of TNR, or maybe that was the second season. I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been probably a year since I was last in a stock car in any race of any capacity. So it took a little bit of time to get used to that. It would have been nice to have a little bit extra practice, but it is what it is. I think it was a great race. I mean, that's what you hope for when you're in any type of racing. You want a good, tight, close race, and that's what we had here tonight at COTA.
Absolutely. And well, next week, Peter, you're going to be back up here in the booth, I assume, but still another technically a home track for you at Texas Motor Speedway. What are we looking forward to seeing next week out of these drivers?
Yeah, I mean, Texas is one of those racetracks that since it was reconfigured, it's a different beast. I've actually never raced it. Speaking of the fact that I've never been, or I've been out of stock cars for so long, I've never driven the new Texas. It's been that long since I was last in a stock car here. So it was one of those things. I've heard a lot of different opinions about it. I personally am not a big fan of the reconfigure from what I have seen. Hopefully it puts on a good show. I've seen it put on good races. I've seen it put on bad races. I've seen a little bit of both. But you know that here in Total Nonstop Racing League, the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series guys, they're absolutely awesome. They're top-notch drivers, getting better every single week. I mean, you heard Daniel Buttafuoco. He just picked up this racetrack today. This is a racetrack I've put a lot of time in on the sim. So, they're really top-notch drivers, and it really was a lot of fun to be out there with them today, and I know they'll put on a good show next week at Texas.
That's for sure. And Peter, before we let you go, technically, do you have any shout-outs there for us?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a big shout-out to Dunn Raceway Park. They're on the hood of the number 33 machine here tonight. Indoor off-road RC racing. We had a couple of those jumps out there, kind of reminded me of an RC car, going over those yellow pillows. But if you're in the Old Forge, Pennsylvania area, you need to go check out Dunn Raceway Park. You need to go check out Master Millwright as well. Great group of people. They were on the car here tonight. If you have any machine needs, Master Millwright's the place to go. Also a sponsor here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. And of course, Thornton Graphix. I mean, the car here tonight, the number 33 machine. I know you guys didn't get to really see it. At least you got to see it from the driver's perspective quite a bit here tonight. But it was a really good looking ride. And of course, that is courtesy of our friends over at Thornton Graphix. They sponsor the league here, and they make this possible here on 3 Wide TV. I know, Bob, you and we've been with this league from 2006, maybe even earlier than that. And it's really awesome to see people like Dunn Raceway Park, Thornton Graphix, Master Millwright, all come together to make these races possible for drivers like Kevin McCann, Buttafuoco, Tim Johnston, all the way down, to the drivers at the back of the field, the drivers who didn't even start here tonight. We had a couple of them. This was possible because of those people. So, folks, definitely go check them out. There are links in the description here on the YouTube video. They're worth your time. If it is worth your time to watch these races here on 3 Wide TV, it is worth your time to click on those links in the description. Absolutely. And of course, Garrett Gleason, he was the one who said, "Hey, buddy, go race tonight." He didn't even think we'd get like 20 people racing here tonight. We got a lot more than that, and that is just showing how strong the Total Nonstop Racing League is right now.
That's for sure. Well, Peter, congrats on the second place finish. I know I'm sure you really wanted to get that P1 in one of these one-off races here, but congratulations on second. Looking forward to calling the race with you next week as we head off to the oval track here in Texas Motor Speedway.
Absolutely. Now I get to transition over to my other role, and that is, of course, to move the race winner up into the lead, up into the chat here. So let me do that for you there, Bob.
All right, well, I am now here in Victory Lane with the winner of tonight's 3 Wide TV Road Course Spectacular here at Circuit of the Americas. Kevin McCann, Bob Giaquinto up here in the 3 Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, Kevin. Well, congratulations on the win. man, one heck of a battle between you, Peter, and Daniel there as the race was going on. We were sitting up here in the booth watching. How were you able to save that much fuel to make it there at the end of the race?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I knew right away that I had messed up my strategy, just goofed, and I thought we were completing lap 15 when we were starting it, and I pitted one lap too early. And I said, oh man, I'm going to have to save fuel this entire second stint right from the get-go. So that's what I did. I just did as much lift and coast as I could on the straightaways. I had to change up the way I was shifting. I did a lot more short shifting, and then in the S's there, I was usually downshifting to second to go through there, but I started doing them through third gear the whole way, and as the tires wore down, it seemed to not slow me down any. But yeah, I just saved as much fuel as I could. I had 0.1 of a gallon crossing the line. And that was with a lot of saving on the last lap too, so it was definitely close.
Yeah, and you'd mentioned obviously saving there, especially through the last lap. How tough was it, especially when you had drivers on your back bumper? The majority of the race, pretty much ever since you wound up coming off of pit road. I could only imagine how tough that must have been to save, but also A, keep the lead, but B, keep going fast.
Yeah, I think Peter can probably attest to this. It's probably a bit frustrating because the way I had to do it was, I took really slow entry, really slow middle of the turn, and focused all my efforts on the exit of the turn. So, those guys, I knew where the passing points were on the track, so I really knew where I needed to get a good exit off of and prevent them from, getting a run on me there. I tried to stay in the lead there in that second stint when I think it was Daniel took it away from me there for a short little bit. He bested me there, but I was talking to him a little bit ago, and he was like, man, I don't know how I burned up my tires so bad. And I said, well, I think the only thing that saved me was having to save so much fuel that caused me to save a bit of tire too. So I think that's just a combination of things kept me out front there.
Well, looking forward now to next week, heading off to Texas Motor Speedway. What are your thoughts on hitting the 1.5 mile oval there in Fort Worth?
Oh yeah, I love Texas, Texas, Atlanta, all those good 1.5 mile tracks like that. I love them, but I know there's some fast guys in here that are going to be tough to beat. I probably expect about a top 5, but I really wanted this win tonight. Coda's one of my favorite tracks, so I'm happy to walk away with a win here.
Awesome. And Kevin, before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs for us?
Yeah, just shout out to my buddy Derek for hopping on and spotting for me tonight and telling me where to save fuel and how to ultimately win that race. Probably couldn't have done it without him. And shout out to you guys for doing the broadcast and the guys, Garrett and guys who put on the TNR League.
Awesome. Well, Kevin, congratulations there for winning here at COTA, and we're looking forward to seeing out there on the track next week when we hit to Texas.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, that will do it for our winner interviews. And Kevin McCann getting the win. Let's take a look now at the finishing positions. Kevin McCann gets the win. Peter Short in second. Daniel Buttafuoco in third. Tim Johnston in fourth. Rounding out the top 5 will be the 99 machine of Philip Scott. In the 6th position, we have Anthony DeBarro. 7th, Brian McCann. 8th, James McKee. Bill Edwards in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 does Tristan Maher.
Yeah, in 11th, you got John Borst. 12th, Robert Kenny. 13th, previous Thornton Graphix champion Jason Gracias. Mike Flappy Telly in 14th. Kevin Stone in 15th. Stephen Kegman in 16th. Josh Gerlach in 17th. Vinny Valvano in 18th.
In 19th place, the 16 machine of Briar Fritz. Garrett Gleason rounding out our top 20. Austin Grover 21st. Nick Cohan 22nd. Todd Kirkwood had a few problems out there on the racetrack. He wound up finishing in 23rd. Fernando Matos 24th. And this guy up here in the booth, Steven Doziak, came in 25th. Jason Shue, 26th. Ben Izinga, 27th. 28th was Mitchell Adams. Matthew Rodriguez in 30th. Justin White Matthew Rodriguez, 29th. Justin White there in 30th. Justin White actually was our in-race administrator. Lupe Gonzalez, Gail Brooks, Tom Bourne, and Bronson Stafford did not take the green flag. So that will wrap things up here at COTA. And now we're going to set our sights to Texas next week. Doze, any final thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to back up a race like we had here tonight. I will be back on track next week at Texas, looking for my first mile and a half win. I do look forward to good side-by-side racing. There's a lot of fast cars in this track, so it's gonna be a battle for however many laps there is, but definitely looking forward to it.
That is for sure. And Peter, any closing thoughts for you as we wrap up this week's race here at COTA?
Yeah, that was a great race. That 3-car battle, that is absolutely awesome. To have that go the entire race, 30 laps, and it all comes down to like a second or something like that. I think it was 9/10 of a second. I mean, that is great hard racing. That's what you love to see, and that's what you're going to see each and every week here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. These drivers know how to get it done, and they know how to put on a show for all of our fans back on TV. Absolutely, here on 3Y TV.
That's for sure. Well, Peter, I guess why don't we go ahead and get this one wrapped up and get ourselves off to Texas next week?
Yeah, we'll be heading about 260 miles to the north of the Texas Motor Speedway. It's going to be a long trip up the interstate I-35 up towards Fort Worth, Denton County, and in fact, technically it's Justin, Texas, is where Texas Motor Speedway sits. But folks, until we meet you again here on 3Y TV, don't worry, I won't be in the car next week. I'll be back up here in the booth. Stay safe, and we shall see ya!